Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I'm still needing to isolate and so unable again to be with you in person, and I miss you all dreadfully, but I hope this will do as we try and engage together with what the Bible has to say. Now, this morning, the reading I'm going to take from this book, it's called the Lion Storyteller Bible. And this is the Bible that is used a lot for open the book talks. So you might be familiar with some of the stories, particularly if your name's Dave Kelly. Anyway, this particular narrative that I'm going to read is told for us in Matthew's Gospel, in Mark's Gospel, and in Luke's Gospel. So you can follow it in any of those at some stage. But just listen to what I'm going to read. Because what I want you to do as I read it is to imagine yourself in the story. To kind of picture yourself there, right there, with all that's going on and all that's being said. I want you to kind of feel what's happening. I want you to try and smell what the ground might smell like, and perhaps a few pongy people nearby. Can you do that for me? Just imagine where you are in the story and perhaps who you are in this story. It's called Jesus and the Children. Are you ready? "I can't see," called a blind woman. "Can you help me, Jesus?" "He can't hear," called a deaf man's friend. "Touch him, Jesus, and make him well." They were everywhere. People with every kind of sickness. And Jesus felt really sorry for them all. So he did what he could to help the crowd that day. I can't see," said the little girl to her mother. "There are too many people in the way." "I can't move," said her little brother. "We're all squished and squashed together." "What did you say?" asked their father. "I can't hear. This crowd is so noisy." Hey, excuse me," said one mother to one of Jesus's friends. We were wondering if Jesus might pray for our children." "Are they sick?" asked the friend. "Oh no," the mother answered. "We just wanted Jesus to ask God to watch over them, to protect them." "I see," said the friend impatiently. "Well, you must have noticed Jesus is a very, very busy man. He has important things to do, lots of sick people to make well." "Yeah, that's right," said another of Jesus' friends. "There are grown-ups here who need Jesus' help. We can't be bothered with children. Particularly children who aren't even sick," added another one. "It's just a waste of his time." The mother and the father and the children all looked at each other. Then they looked at the ground and turned to leave. They were really embarrassed. "Does this mean we won't see Jesus?" asked the little girl, rubbing the tears from her eyes. But before her mother could answer, another voice called out across the crowd. "Wait! Wait!" It was the voice of Jesus. "Bring your children here," said Jesus. "There's nothing to be ashamed of." And he gave his friends a very stern, unhappy look. Jesus picked up the little boy and the little girl, and he gave them each a big hug and smiled. And then he said, "Listen, I want everybody to listen, particularly my friends. You must never, ever keep the children away from me. They are as important to me as everyone else. I want to be their friend too. I want them to be my friend." Don't you see? God wants all of us to be like these children, to love him like a father, to trust him completely, and to long to be with him. Then Jesus prayed for the children. He hugged them one more time, and he sent them beaming back to their parents. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And I wonder where you imagine yourself in that story. Perhaps you were in the crowd, desperately pushing and shoving to get closer to Jesus and be healed, or even just to be blessed by him. Maybe you're frightened by those grumpy men who try to stop you getting close, or by the jostling crowd who get in your way and stand on your toes. If you're a bit scared, I expect you kept a very tight grip on your parents' hand, because maybe you felt quite small and unimportant. Or maybe you imagine yourself as one of those disciples. You know how busy Jesus is. You can see that he has important things to move on to, important people to go and see. And if he wastes too much time here, well, he might be late for a very, very important meeting, or get really tired before he gets there. You don't mean to be unkind, but hey, friends look out for one another, and Jesus chose us to be his closest friends. When you're already in the gang, it's easy to feel important, perhaps a bit too big for your size 11 boots. Or perhaps you were just looking in from a distance, trying to work out who this Jesus is, trying to see if he really is as powerful and as caring as people are saying he is. Now, all of this hustle and bustle and pushing and shoving is a little confusing, at least until you hear what Jesus said. Child, disciple, onlooker. Have a little chat with your neighbour for a few moments. Where are you and how does it feel? Where are you in the story and how does it feel? Okay, 2 minutes. Go! Okay, everybody, I hope that was helpful. Now, imagining ourselves in the stories of the Bible, and especially the events of Jesus, is a really good and helpful thing to do. It's good to use our imaginations to try and hear the noises, to smell the smells, to feel the crowds, and to ask ourselves how we might think, how we might behave if we had been there. And there is no right answer to that. There is no right way to feel. If you can imagine yourself there, it might change each time you hear the story. Well, whichever character, in whatever place we might imagine ourselves to be, this can be a really helpful way for us to really hear and carefully listen to what Jesus is saying. Now, this is especially true for this story because what Jesus says and all that Jesus does is still true for every single one of us. Regardless of our age, we are all invited to join God's family, to become one of His children. And it's so important for all of us to listen to what Jesus says, to watch how He behaves, because Jesus' invitation is for every single one of us. The invitation is for every single one of us to be where He talks about, within the family of God the Father. Now, maybe when you think of God, you imagine yourself as someone who wants to get close, you want to be included, but perhaps you feel a bit frightened by other people who are trying to scare you away. Maybe some of your friends scare you away. They laugh at the idea of anybody wanting to listen to Jesus, and they might try to get you to do something else, to believe something else about who He really is. Perhaps there are things about Jesus that are, well, a bit complicated. And maybe we're scared that we're not clever enough. We're not nice enough. Maybe other people have told us that we will never be good enough to be Jesus' friend. Well, if any of that is true for you, I hope you listened to what Jesus actually said. Now, perhaps when you think of God, you imagine yourself as someone who's already one of His close friends. Oh, you've loved Him and you've worshipped Him for as long as you can remember. Sometimes you do find yourself getting a little bit grumpy, a little bit cross when other people who are not like us or don't appear to be as good as us, when they try and join in. And maybe you want to kind of hold them away. You want to say or do things that, well, frighten them off a little or put them off. After all, Jesus must have important people to reach and to welcome. And we don't want Him asking us to be friends with the riffraff, do we? Oh. Well, I hope you listened carefully to what Jesus actually said. Or perhaps you're looking at Jesus from a distance. You're trying to work out who He was and whether He still is, and what all of that might mean for us today, now. You've heard a lot about Jesus. You've listened to what others say about Him, but you'd still like to know that you are really welcomed by Him. I hope you listened very carefully to what Jesus said. Jesus said, "Let the children come to me. The kingdom of God belongs to people like these." Let the children come to me. The kingdom of God belongs to people like these. Now, a couple of times already this year at church, we've talked about this phrase, children of God. And I want to emphasize today that this is a title which is for children of all ages. Yes, in this story, Jesus was focused on little children. But what He said wasn't restricted or limited only to people under 11 or whatever age you might think of. Jesus wants to welcome all of us into the kingdom or the home of Father God. And he longs to wrap his love around every single one of us, to give us a hug, to be our closest friend. Nobody is too small or too big. None of us are too young or too old. And whether we're frightened or proud, we feel pushed away or welcomed in, whatever viewpoint we take as we listen to his words, what Jesus really wants for each of us to hear is that we are all welcome. We are all welcome. And Jesus cares about our fears. He cares about when we feel excluded. He cares about the things that frighten us or scare us away. But he always welcomes us still. Come to me, he says. Come to me. Now, the main reason I wanted us all to try and imagine ourselves in this story is that we really are in the story. Now, maybe that particular crowd was a long time ago and far, far away. But every single one of us, here and now, every single one of us always is included in Jesus' invitation to come to him. Each of us, all of you are welcomed in his hug and his heart. Some of us need to accept his invitation for the very first time. Others of us need to hear and adopt his heart of welcome and show that to others. But all of us need to listen carefully to what Jesus said. We need to keep coming closer and closer to him. We need to understand that all the time, God longs to be our Father, a Father who will never, ever let go of our hand. That's good news for the children of God. Let's pray. Lord God, thank you for loving each one of us, for helping us to be friends with Jesus. Thank you that you welcome us all, and you love it when we come to you. Please help us to stay close to you, to know your love, and to always be your friend. Amen. Amen. I'm going to hand back to Neil and the band now. Thank you so much for listening. God bless. Take care.